Well, thank you, Senator Jones, and thank you to the chair and committee for allowing me to present with my colleague, Senator Jones, today on this important bill. I am a co-author of SB 1011 because, simply stated, we need to do better to serve our neighbors who are unhoused, and we deserve to have our public spaces, parks, sidewalks, trails available for the public use. Unfortunately, every month in this state, street homelessness grows. We see this in our communities every single day. Poor souls who are sleeping outside in the rain, wrapped in makeshift cardboard, some with blankets, others without, clearly suffering. Within the shadows of the California state capitol, here in the state that has the 5th largest economy in the entire world, there are encampments on city streets and in our parks, a lack of facilities for personal hygiene, no place to use the bathroom, small fires, and an ever-expanding footprint of stuff and trash into the public right-of-way that prevents the public from even using the space. We need more housing, full stop, without exception, to solve this crisis. We need mental health and drug and alcohol treatment beds, full stop, without exception. We know this. We continually say this again and again. And meanwhile, while we are waiting for this to happen, we do nothing to address the urgent, catastrophic humanitarian crisis that is growing every single month on our streets. We need to communicate to local governments what tools they have. We need to set a standard at the state level. We need to fight to do better by people by working at both ends of the problem. Collectively, we have to be clear-eyed here that by allowing our public spaces to become sleeping spaces, we are tolerating this. We are allowing it to happen, and we are allowing it to grow every month. The author and I and our witnesses who are here today are not alone in saying that this is an urgent problem. 70% of California residents identify growing street homelessness as the top state problem. Looking at the conditions of our public streets in videos of Oakland or Venice Beach or countless other communities throughout California, it is truly and deeply horrifying how people are living and what we are tolerating. Whenever I personally walk by someone who is suffering outside, I feel that twin sensation of compassion for the suffering of a fellow human, and also anger and helplessness about the fact that we are letting this happen. The intent of this bill is one part of a package of solutions. The bill says that people cannot camp within 500 feet of schools, in open spaces, and at transit stops at any time. And when shelter beds are available, they cannot camp on sidewalks. Both the author and I come from the county of San Diego, and this bill is modeled after the successful program that the city of San Diego has enacted and that took effect last July. San Diego's unsafe camping ordinance has had ripple effects that benefit everyone. It has broadened and sharpened the conversation and the discussion of homelessness and its solutions, and it has created forward progress where before there was inertia. When it went into effect, there were more than 2,100 San Diego residents living on the downtown streets. There has been a 60% decline in this street homelessness on the downtown streets. The city has something more broad than this bill. It's called the Comprehensive Shelter Strategy, and all parts of it are important. It designates safe camping sites, and it also aims to increase housing and supportive services for the homeless. This includes a focus on the construction of single-room occupancy rooms, shelters, permanent supportive housing, and pursuing shelters and temporary housing in a variety of different ways. The reality is, if people are not going to be living outside in these conditions, they need to be living inside. And laws like this one, this bill, will help create the momentum that's necessary to push all levels of society to create those inside living places. We all deserve to have clean spaces in public that are safe and inviting. We also deserve to have open spaces that protect nature and do not create a flow of human and animal waste and trash and debris into our waterways. The residents of California, our neighbors, deserve better. They deserve to live inside. SB 1011 is a responsible and humane approach, and I urge your aye vote. I first want to say thank you to Madam Chair for your comments, and also to Senator Skinner for your comments, and Senator Sayarto, as well as the witnesses who came, Mayor Franklin, who came from Vista this morning on a flight, and also the other primary witness, as well as all the people who came in opposition to speak against this, and especially to Mayor Jones behind me for bringing this, to Senator Jones behind me for bringing this forward, because what I really truly want to see is all of us focused on this problem. And I think to Senator Skinner's point about local governments having suppressed housing over many decades, that what's really important and to me is so clear is that all of the levels of government who are responsible for this are all saying that the other level needs to do more. And what it means is that no one's owning the problem, that the cities are pointing at the county saying they're supposed to provide for homeless services, and counties are saying we don't have enough money and we don't do land use. And then the state is saying, hey, we're providing a lot of grants and a lot of money. And the reality is that I want to work on this problem. I see this as a top state problem. I want to see energy from my colleagues on it. And in order to do that, as was mentioned, we have 120 legislators, and where is our homelessness subcommittee? Where is the homelessness advocate? Where are the bills on homelessness? There are literally almost none. This is one of the very few. And we have a problem with encampments, and we have a problem with people not having a place to go. And so we need to be talking seriously about public housing. We need to be talking about cities having an obligation around homelessness. Right now, there is none. Cities have an obligation around zoning for housing, but not around homelessness and their obligations there. We're not talking seriously about rental subsidies, as Madam Chair said, is one of the things that's most effective. Our seniors are the ones falling into homelessness the most, as she said. And the reality is this is getting worse and worse and worse every year as we continue to say, well, we're trying to provide more supply side approach of building more housing. And that is just not going to solve the problem. And meanwhile, we have this burgeoning, ongoing humanitarian crisis. So I would love to hear from the opposition. Come and talk to my office, reach out to my staff about things that you think we can do, because I am interested in what we can do in this state, and not saying it's just about money. It's not just about money. It's about a variety of policy things and approaches to land use, and it's about money. But we need to be having those conversations, and I do not perceive that we're having them at the legislative level, and I think we need to be having them. So there's urgency here. I urge your I vote because this is something we can do. I recognize that that's maybe not likely today, but I think it's really important that we see this as one step in the future, toward the future, that hopefully we can actually start to see progress here. Thank you again, Madam Chair, for allowing such a fulsome discussion of this. And with that, I respectfully ask for your I vote.